And as I said, follow our heart. I don't know, did anybody feel a little heaviness this week at all? A little overwhelm, a little problems, life not quite going the way you want it to go. And I looked at the title I chose and went, follow your heart. That sounds so lightweight, so surface, until I really got into it. So we have to be prepared. I looked at what following your heart meant to me. And it's not about following our physical heart, which that needs conditioning. If you ask any of our nurses here, we need to get exercise and we need to eat right and we need to limit our stress. Physical heart. Our emotional heart, we need to take care of and do with our emotions so they don't take care of us. We take care of our emotions, but this spiritual heart holds something so important. You know, if we know truly what you said, Reverend Janet, that God is all there is, and God is love, and we are one with, the outpicturing, the individualized expression of spirit, then we must be love, and we must be made of love. And as I look back on my life, and this was a crazy week with a lot of things going on, even after 70 plus years, I just had a birthday recently, with the struggles, the grief, the problems, the challenges, I have never stopped loving, ever. That's the main purpose of life for me. So follow your heart, you betcha. We can heal all the problems that way, but we got to do our work. Saint Teresa of Avila said, the heart has divine instincts. Now this is the spiritual heart. Has divine instincts. It must be turned loose. The heart's our teacher. We have to open the pathway between this head. So many of us get imprisoned by the thoughts in our head, the thoughts of the past, all the things that have happened, good and bad, but mostly bad things that have happened, and we worry about that. And then we have thoughts of the future and we worry about what's going to happen instead of realizing, there's always two going on inside of us, the physical and the spiritual. There's always the way things seem to be, and there's always the way things are, the truth, the way they are. They're what we seem to be in any moment, and I think, Janet, you read those so beautifully from that passage. We can be insecure, unworthy, filled with jealousy or anger or bitter, whatever it is, that's what it seems to be, but the truth of us, that's a good thing. That's a good thing we want to get to. So our heart is really our teacher, and I feel it's spirit that talks to the heart, because spirit talks in a language that's universal. It doesn't just speak English or Japanese or Hindu or whatever. It speaks one language of feeling, and it's creativity, it's emotion, it's inspiration that it speaks to us, because life wants us to live fuller. God wants us always to live a fuller, more expressive life, and we have to listen to that intuition. So it speaks in that language of feeling, but our mind can't go as deep as that knowing in the heart. Our mind can't get there. There's a secret way that our heart knows things. How does all that get here? And we miss it sometimes. But our mind can get there through math and science in different ways. But we need our mind to interpret and give form to our feelings, our intuition. But we have to move away from all of these thoughts. We have to make a clear path from our head to our heart so we can follow those divine instincts. So my suggestion for us, we have to make this commitment, is every single day, we have to wash our mind and our heart so we can be clear. We need to do the work that's called, that we can get rid of what doesn't work and hold on to what does. I read somewhere, I think it was this cute book I have, I can't remember who wrote it, but I opened it up and it says, life is like a piece of cake. Well, that sort of sounds like easy way to think of things, but life is like a piece of cake. And if you don't like what's happening in your life, look at what ingredients you're holding inside you. Look at what's going on inside. It's like if your cake is bitter, you have to take out the ingredients that are making it bitter. Don't listen to the commercials that tell you you need more frosting on your cake to make it better. You need all this stuff in your life to make your life better. Hey, your life can be good right now because you've got amazing divine potential within. But, you know, what happens if you take that frosting, believe those commercials, and keep putting more frosting on your bitter cake, what you're going to have is a bitter cake with lots of frosting. We got to do the work. So if our life is like a piece of cake, we have to say, okay, what in me is making my life unhappy? What in me is making me angry, sad, feeling unworthy? What is it? And take that ingredient out. Because the secret to any recipe, now we all have a little bit different recipe for our life, of course, but what the secret ingredient for our life and our recipe is to make our bitter batter better. I really like that, our bitter batter better. I can't do any more than that. We have to take out what it is. What is it in your life, my life right now that makes it sour or disagreeable or unhappy? We've got to work on that because we have the power within to do that. But that's only going to happen. And in everything we read and know and look at and understand, yes, we get the spiritual 2x4s that knock us off our course. But it's in the silence is where we really find what's going on. What batter, why our batter's bitter. We have to find out what are we holding on to? You know, the one thing, and in all the spiritual book, all the spiritual leaders and teachers, Jesus started it all. Well, he didn't start it all, but he certainly talked about it, is the power of forgiveness. And if we are holding unforgiveness in our hearts, we can't have a clear passageway to all that goodness that's there. If we're holding on, because it's a block that blocks the flow of that infinite good from flowing through us. So I think today in our prayer wall, because active faith right now is the one thing that I believe is going to keep us going and growing. When I looked at that following our heart, of course, who do I lean on besides Kirk? Who do I lean on? My other boyfriend, Rumi. I looked at that 13th century mystic, and this one quote that I've known for years and years and years is the way I think we're going to heal what's going on in our world right now. And it's going to take all of us. It's not out there, it's in here. When Rumi said, out between wrongdoing and right doing, out beyond wrongdoing and right doing, there is a field. I'll meet you there. When the soul lies down in that grass, just imagine, you put away all your, that's right, that's wrong, this is good, that's right. When the soul lies down in that grass, ideas, language, even the phrase, each other, doesn't make any sense at all. We're all different spicy recipes of spirit. And we show up in different ways, thank goodness. But we got to do our work that we can show up fully. You know, life is filled with lessons. Did anybody know that? And if you don't get the lesson, what do you have to do? How often? Again and again and again. And finally you get it, and guess what? There's another lesson. Because we're here. We're here on this earth to learn. And we learn through our lessons. And so our lessons, we want to get over the lessons quicker and easier and more peacefully. But we're not going to get through them peacefully if we're holding on to a lack of forgiveness or anger or bitterness or hatred or anything in our heart. You know, there's a very quick Buddhist practice that it's the Tonglen practice. And we did it when my daughter and I were up at the Pema Chodron workshop. She had did this often. We can do it for ourselves, we can do it for other people, and we can do it with the huge problems we see in the world. And it's very simple, and it's very easy, but we have to do it until we reach that state of peace, understanding. And of course it happens right in the moment, in the silence, and that's what we're looking for. And what you do is when those creepy feelings pop up, do you know what I mean? The ones you don't really want to have, but they won't go away. Okay, let's say let's talk about ourselves. Let's say it pops up in ourselves because we feel so inadequate. We feel so unworthy. We feel so less than. Our little tiny self has taken over and is saying, you're just not good enough. Really, you're not. And you're going, okay. Well, breathe in the feeling of unworthiness. Just breathe it in. And then what do I want to be? Capable. That's what came to me first. Breathe in unworthiness, breathe out, I am capable. And keep doing that until you clean out and let go of that feeling that has a hold right here. And we let it go. Now, if you're having trouble with someone else, has anybody had any trouble with somebody else this week? Yeah, okay, I just want to make sure I wasn't alone. Anyway, oftentimes it's family members, but anyway. Same thing, if you feel anger, upset, if you feel like you can't forgive that person, if you're angry, breathe in that anger, and whatever you want to feel, understanding, forgiveness, peace. Keep breathing that and going in that circle until you've cleansed and cleared and washed out whatever it is. And the same with things in the world. I mean, we see things in this world that are just hard to bear. This world is filled with this drama and divisiveness and chaos and anger and meanness, but it's way more filled with love and goodness and creativity and possibility. But we have to clear the path. So breathe in the hurt you feel and breathe out empathy and love and just surround that situation until you can move on through your day with a sense of clarity and understanding. You see, if we don't do that cleaning and clearing out and connecting with Spirit, really getting to that active faith, because you know the place we truly pray from is that heart center. It's that heart center. That's where our prayers come from. That's where our deep knowing. We've got to keep that clear and clean. It's like, did anybody speak an unkind word today? This week? Or have an unkind thought? Okay, a few more on that. You know, we say hurt people hurt people. When we think unkind things and say unkind things, we haven't cleared that pathway to understand who we really are. Who we really are right here and right now. We have to understand that and know that. Here's something, this is what Ernest Holmes said. He said, every single day, all the time, Spirit's tapping on the walls of our heart. It's that divine urge to live a fuller, better, more positive, affirmative life tapping on our heart. We have to listen. And he said, I want you to say this every day, and I'll say it first, and then we'll say it together. Day by day, in every way, I'm getting better and better. It's just like the song Changed. We all screw up. We all mess up. We all aren't the highest version of ourselves, but we can get better and better and better no matter what. So day by day, in every way, I'm getting better and better and better. Hey, that sounded good. Let's do it one more time. Every day, in every way, I'm getting better and better and better. You bet. And that's what it is. That's what it is. You know, I feel like a broken record sometimes because the answer is always love. Just always is. I mean, there's really no other answer that can heal every problem. It was Martin Luther King who said, where is it? I can't find it, but he said something really great. Love is the only force the only force capable of transforming an enemy into a friend. It vibrates beneath every act of kindness, every act of service, every piece of art. And it resides beneath every family. It's right there. Every relationship, it's right there. We need to reach for it. So as we get our prayer wall up today, and here's what we remind ministers and practitioners when you come up here, center yourself in that power place, knowing the channel where the truth is right here. And these are not full prayers, they're just a statement or two of truth for each person that comes up. Prayers don't need to be long, they just need to be honest, truthful pieces of wisdom. So I want our ministers and practitioners to form our prayer wall up here. As each of you, in your own heart and mind and your honesty, figure out what it is you need to let go of to clear that path, to follow the love in your heart, to be that love in your heart, to be changed by something better. And when you come up, just say, my prayer is for, and that's all you need to say. And these beautiful practitioners and ministers that have been trained for years in knowing how to open to the truth and the spirit and the voice of love. I invite you to come up now. Be brave. Everybody needs a prayer. It's active faith that's going to change the world and change our lives. And as our prayers are closing, I want you in your seats to release your prayer to this beautiful dome of prayer, of possibility, of love that we've created. Just knowing right where we are, everything we need is. And just release those, let those go. Feel that active faith and knowing as our prayer is spoken, it is answered. We simply need to open our hearts and minds to let that power of love be the healing force in our life. There is only one heart. That is the heart of love, the heart of spirit. And simply know with me that that heart is our heart now. And we put all of our hearts together in that one understanding of the truth, that life is good, we are good, possibilities are here right now. And so it is. God bless all of you.